Hey guys, what is going on? Sharp Thinking here. I haven't done a video in a while, and I've really put off doing this video for a couple of reasons, but I'm going to try to knock it out now. For those of you guys that don't know, this is the Spartan Blades Pallas. It is a big, beefy 3.8-ish, 8.5 maybe, inch blade folding knife from Spartan Blades. It's a US company. They make nice knives. Definitely not budget stuff, which I typically don't do budget videos on this channel. But the reason I picked it up is because it's almost identical in price and size and materials, actually, to the Microtech SOCOM, which is one of my all-time favorite knives. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. You're not going to find a perfect knife at any price range. It's always a compromise. It's unfortunate, but a lot of people do not like to hear that when I say it in my videos. Now, I do think it's a good knife. This one has some issues, and we're going to talk about that, but let's talk about just an overview of the knife first. So starting with the blade, I have a Tonto blade. Not my favorite. I'm going to send it in and get it rebladed to a clip blade. Hopefully they put an S45 VN blade in there, because I'd love to try that. From talking to Steve and the Steel guys who actually talked to Spartan Blades at Blade Show, 2 years ago, I think. Spartan has a pretty good handle on their heat treat. I have not hard used this because of an issue I'm having with it, and it's literally a safety issue. So I can't comment on their heat treat yet, but I do like the knife enough to hold on to it to hopefully do a conclusive analysis video. Now the steel is S35 VN. It could be really good. It could be okay. It could be bad. Until I know, I can't say anything. The finish is quite nice though. It reminds me almost of a CRK finish. Everything is very well rounded, and all the corners are knocked off of everything. It's a very nice looking finish. Also crown spine, which I like. I know a lot of people like that. One thing I do like about this that reminds me of the Umnumzon, and I only have the SOCOM with me for some reason, but I would love to show you guys that. But the Umnumzon has kind of a finger groove right here, and this is the same kind of feeling as that. I really enjoy that on the Zon, and I like it on this knife. I believe the clip blade also has this. Blade stock thickness, no idea. I don't know those kind of details. One thing I do want to say is this knife, in my mind, shouldn't be a flipper. It's not a very good flipper. It does work, but I almost never deploy it with a flipper unless I'm doing a video. Normally I just hit the thumb stud and it flies out, which it's a really nice thumb stud. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got all kinds of grooves in there and it works. I think it honestly should just be a thumb stud opening knife, but I get it, the market wants flippers. Detent, super light on this guy. So, almost nothing to it, whereas the SOCOM. Obviously, big difference. But it is a button lock, and we're going to talk about that. So, the lock on this is faulty, or at least I hope it's faulty, and it's not just how this knife is for everybody. Mine fails pretty easily, so if I put a ton of force on the blade, you can see it just failed. I am going to send it in to get that fixed, hopefully, when I send it off to get the reblade done. But it is kind of a big problem. If you spine whack it, it fails almost immediately. Kind of sucks to see because this is a $300 knife, and I don't want to spread false information or anything, but I did have this on my Instagram story, and someone DM'd me and said that theirs did the same thing. So kind of disappointing to hear that. I don't know. I mean, it's a folding knife. It's not a fixed blade. It will fail. All folding knives can fail. Um, they can, like a cold steel. What are the odds of that? Not very likely. But they all can, on paper, fail, and in practice as well. Handle 6061 aluminum. I love that as a material. I think it's fine. I know a lot of people with the SOCOM that I talk to feel that they were ripped off because they only got aluminum handles and they paid $300 for a USA made beast of a knife. I love aluminum handles, I have to say. I have really grown to enjoy the feeling of them. It's kind of a... Most of you guys have handled aluminum knives, but it's not the same like cold feeling that a steel handle is. I definitely don't like steel handles. It feels just like a lighter titanium, basically. So I think that's good to go. A little bit of milling here. Talking about the ergonomics, my hand is not big enough to encounter this as like a major problem, but, and I wish I brought my XM18 here to demonstrate, but these little jimping sections back here are so annoying. I do not know why manufacturers insist on putting it there. I get it, it looks cool, and yes, the SOCOM does it too, unfortunately. I also do not encounter that in use because I tend to hold my knives like this, and if I'm cutting cardboard, it's slanted back and it just kind of glides along the edge. The cardboard, that is. But super annoying on the XM18. If you have big hands, it might be annoying. Maybe you're using gloves and it's not going to be an issue. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't love that. The nice thing is they spared the jimping back here. When you're putting a lot of force down on a handle and there's jimping, it will bug the shit out of your hand. You'll get all kinds of blisters. If you are like really beating on the knife, that is. If you're just holding it like this and cutting open a box, it's not going to do that. But if you're like carving wood or breaking down boxes, it can get a little irritating. Let's see. Pivot, hardware, stuff like that. Very nice hardware. The standoffs are extremely nice. The screws are very well finished. I did kind of tamper with them a little bit just to get a feel. High quality screws. I love to see that. It's one of the details that some manufacturers skimp on, and I think if you intend to own a knife for a long time, it's a really important thing because you're going to take it apart probably a lot if you own it over the course of 10 years, let's say. You'll take it apart a lot. And I know knife guys are obsessed with cleaning their knives. A lot of them. I'm not personally, but you don't want to strip a screw and have to send in the knife because of that. Like, that's just dumb, in my opinion. But not a problem on here. Big screws, I think T8 and T10. So not too big on the pivot. The pivot is similar to not quite a regular Hinderer pivot, like that real big one that they use, but Hinderer actually on their slip joint used a pivot very similar to this. And if you take a flathead from like one of those hex screwdrivers, let's see if I have one here. No, maybe not. And you just mill out the middle, or in this case, it's not a big deal. You can probably just use a flathead, which I didn't even think about because I didn't really process that the pivot doesn't stick in the middle gap part right here. I don't know why I struggle so much with talking in videos. It's like my brain turns off halfway through. But yeah, you could probably just use a flathead on this. So it's not like a D shape or anything. It will spin if you try to tighten it down too much, and then you have to loosen it. What else? Clip. carries really high out of the pocket. I left the lanyard on. It is a titanium clip, same one that's on the Spartan Blades Harsey folder. Super cool knife. I really want to pick one up. And they just made a mini, which I'm actually kind of excited about. The clip is good. In terms of retention, it's not great in terms of how much the feed lip kind of sticks up. And you can't have too thick of a pocket seam with this clip. But it is titanium. It'll be fine. I'm just kind of bullshitting at this point. But yeah, big issue with this is that lock failure. It's insane. I don't think I've ever had lock failure that's this bad. I can just push it closed with my thumb. Normally, if a knife is going to fail from a spine whack, you spine whack at the tip because you have the most leverage. But in this instance, I can actually just push down like right super close to the pivot and it will fail, which is sad, to say the least. But yeah, I do like the design. I'm giving it a second chance. If it comes back and the lock still fails, I'm just gonna ditch it. You'll hear about it. But yeah, super cool knife. I like the way it looks. I'm just, a little off put by the lock failing. And another thing I left out is Spartan Blades' decision to start outsourcing knives. I think that was a big mistake. I do not like that at all. And honestly, a couple weeks back, I almost sold this because I was just, the combination of them starting to outsource when they have the means of production to make knives here and the lock failure was just pretty much enough for me. But I held on to it and hopefully I won't regret that. That's all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.